All right. So let's start in our upright position, sitting on a blanket, sitting on a pillow. Prop your hips up a couple of inches above your knees. If your knees look like this and you're going, you got to be kidding me. I can't get my hips up that high. Do the best you can. If you're here and your knees want to be in this position, even if you're sitting on a blanket, then take whatever you can find and stuff it under there so that your legs have a little bit of something to relax on. That's going to allow you to relax your hip creases a little bit more. So whatever you got around you, a pillow, a blanket, a block, something, get it under there, a couple books. And, not everybody has hips like mine. I have wide hips and I'm a big external rotator. That's why my knees are flat on the floor. It's just the way I was born. So if you were born like this, it doesn't make you less of a person. It just means that your hips are a little bit different than mine. So do what you can to make that adjustment so that you can sit here comfortably. All right, once we have that, we're going to really feel like we're sitting. We're going to be aware of sitting on the earth. So here we are on the earth. We're sitting on the earth and we're sinking down and getting heavy on the earth. So let the bones of your legs get heavy, those big bones of your legs, the big muscles of your legs, your feet, everything heavy, pelvis heavy. And then from there, it's like your pelvis is this bowl. And we try to find a neutral bowl so that you're not, if this was a bowl full of water, you don't want to tip forward so that the water spills out the front. You don't want to tip backwards so that the water spills out the back. You want to find a neutral bowl. And then from that bowl, the spine lengthens up. So here's the bowl, here's the spine. It's like a plant, like a house plant, kind of, except it's a little bit more curvy, maybe. So we want to keep the natural curves, press the top of the head up towards the ceiling, draw your ears back over your shoulders. You might feel like you're sitting a little bit more upright than is what even is comfortable for you. So just be aware of that. Open up your heart, open up your chest, drop your shoulders away from your ears, relax your face, tongue, eyes, mouth, ears, scalp. Let yourself soften. Imagine that there's a wave, a little waterfall wave that comes down the sides of your head and into your neck and down your shoulders, slow motion waterfall. And everywhere that it touches, your body gets softer and more relaxed without losing the length that we gained when we lifted up through the crown of the head. Can we do all that at the same time? Yes, we can. It might require a little bit more concentration, but we can. And the more we do it, the more it becomes natural. So notice how you feel when you've done all of those things. Notice what it feels like to sit inside this body of yours today. Notice the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Everything. We notice the pain, the tightness, the tension, but we also notice the places that feel soft and quiet and relaxed. And we notice it all without judging it, we're trying to get rid of a little bit of tension if we can, but we just notice that that's what we've got. That's what we've got to work with right now. And then when we check in again at the end of our practice, we'll have something to compare it to. Let's relax our arms, hands, any position that feels comfortable for you. Close your eyes if you like to close your eyes. Notice the breath flowing through your body, that beautiful companion you've had since the moment of your birth flowing through your body. Feel it flowing, and then begin to deepen it. So draw the breath all the way down into the belly, lift it into your ribs, into your chest. And then exhaling from your chest to your rib cage to your belly, letting it all go. Feel the belly draw back towards the spine. Long, deep breaths in and longer exhalations. When your mind floats away, if it does float away, watch it float. Where does it go? What are the thoughts that come into your brain today? And then file them away, let them float off again, and come back to your breath. Allow yourself to be present. It's our best chance at activating the parasympathetic nervous system and getting out of the fight and flight mode that we spend so much time in. Be here now. And let's create an intention from this place, an intention for your practice. I'm going to breathe that in. We're going to let that go. Let's bring the fingertips to the floor and inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, float them down. Float them in slow motion. And especially if your eyes are closed, you can really pay attention to this feeling of arms moving through space. Let's bring the arms up overhead again, inhaling and exhaling. And let's do it again. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more and let's see what we can feel that's different. Inhale. And exhale. Let's tap our fingers on the floor. So we're moving our fingers or moving our thumbs like they're running on the mat next to you. And then let's relax. Let your right ear drop down to your right shoulder and walk your left hand a little bit further away. Relax your jaw, breathe in and out through your nose. And then we'll lift the head to center, slide the hand back, take a breath, sit up nice and tall. And let's do a baby turn to the right. So we'll just let the left hand kind of hang out in front of you here, right hand behind, and turn your head to look out to the right. Relax your shoulders. Breath still flowing all the way down into the belly. And then we'll unwind, come back to the center on an in-breath. We're going to let the left ear drop to the shoulder on an exhalation and walk the right hand away. Some of you might pick your hand up. I don't like that feeling. For me, it's too much, but you might decide you like it. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth, jaw is soft. Breathe into the right side of the neck. We'll bring the head to center on an in-breath, slide the hand back towards you. Take another breath and get long. Exhale, we're going to do a baby twist to the left. So we're not going to our full range, but I want to get the head turned to the side. So keep the chin level to the floor. And then let's unwind on an in-breath and come all the way back around. Now we've been sitting here for a while, so let's straighten out our legs. We're going to circle our ankles. And we're going to circle back the other way. And let's wheel our toes. And let's try to spread our toes. Try to spread your toes apart. Notice which foot has more spreadable toes. And then relax your feet, and let's point and flex. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. And then let's put the right hand back on the floor. Inhale your left arm up, and we'll do a little baby side bend. So we're, excuse me, still warming up. Still warming up, so everything's a little baby stretch. And just notice that opening that we have invited into the left side of the body. Let's come back through the middle on an in-breath, and we'll float the left hand down on an out-breath. Inhale, right arm up. And let's do a baby stretch over to the left. Exhale. So opening up the territory on the right side of the body, the right side of the ribs. And then let's release that stretch, float your arm down, and let's come to our hands and knees. I have a little tickle in my throat today. I apologize for that. Okay. Here we are on our hands and knees. Let's do a little wiggle side to side. Wiggle side to side. Hips are going one way, head's going the other, but again, we're keeping it small, keeping it toward the middle of your body. Just feeling out the territory. And then let's come back to the middle and walk the hands a little bit forward of the shoulders and do a big up, down, and around. Now we can get a little bigger, and we can start moving the spine up more towards the ceiling and towards the floor. If you like the way this feels with your toes tucked, feel free to tuck your toes. That gives you a little bit of an extra stretch on your feet. You don't have to do that. Let's circle the other direction. And then let's come back up, and since our hands are already forward of our shoulders, let's keep them there. Keep your hips over your knees, and we'll just do a little walk forward with our hands so that we can get into a little back bend here, dropping the chest to the floor. Chin or forehead will come down. Maybe your head is hanging up a little bit above the floor. That's okay. Get wherever you get. Arms are nice and long. We're in half dog pose. Let's take another breath. And then let's start to walk our hands back just so that we can get on our forearms. And let's do a cat-cow round from our forearms today. So looking down, we're still going to try to find our mountain alignment best we can. Neutral spine, drawing shoulders away from ears. Take a breath, and then let's round it into cat stretch. And let's go back and forth. Into cow we go on the in-breath. We've got our cat on the out-breath. So back and forth you go. See if you can detect each part of your spine as it moves. Put your attention on that. And then for the next breath, put your attention on the places where your body is touching the floor. And pay attention to that. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll come back to neutral. We're going to come up to our hands, but we'll keep our hands just a little forward of our shoulders, tuck the toes, and let's come to downward facing dog. So we're going to lift up the knees, the hips are going to come right up to the sky. We're going to do a little walk here. Look back at your feet. So let your head hang down enough that you can see your feet. Spread your fingers and remember we're bearing weight more forward on our hands whenever we can. Soften your shoulders, soften your neck. And then let's all rise up way up on the balls of our feet. So we feel a little stretch between the balls of our feet and our toes. And you'll feel your weight move forward into your arms. So bearing a little bit more weight on the upper body. Take a breath. We'll lower our heels and walk forward. Slide your hands back to your feet. You're standing in Uttanasana, the standing forward fold. Feel your hamstrings here, right here on your thighs, your hamstrings. Stretching the hamstrings, keeping our knees healthy. Stretching our low back, letting that traction happen in your neck. Let your arms hang heavy. They're not doing anything right now but hanging. Now bend your knees a lot. Let your belly rest on your thighs if it's not already, and lengthen your spine. Come to your fingertips, or some of you might be hanging with your hands above the ground. And then we're going to lengthen the spine a little bit more and unhinge. Unhinge, like you're unfolding yourself here to stand in mountain pose. A different view of the world when we get up here, right? So now this is when we start thinking, let's keep my ears over my shoulders and have my gaze point over there so that I can keep this mountain alignment as I do all my standing postures, especially when we're balancing. So let's do some balancing right now. We're going to shift over to the right foot. We're going to bring the left leg up so the thigh comes to parallel with the floor for most. For some of you, your big toe is still on the floor. For some of you, you're holding on. For some of you, you have your back on the wall. Decide where you want your arms. Right? Your center of gravity is going to change depending on where you have your arms. So you get to decide, since it's your practice, what's most beneficial for you today. Let's breathe. This is called stork pose. Remember, we're practicing. Keep your mind on what you're doing. Keep your mind on the gaze point. And then let's release. Get your composure again. Find yourself standing here in mountain pose in this moment, and then shift over to your left foot. We're going to let the right leg lift. Again, that's your choice. Holding on, back on the wall. Where are your arms going? Find your gaze point. Big breaths flowing through your body, telling your body that everything is okay. And then let's release. Shake, shake, shake. So for those of you who are new or are wondering, I typically hold those about 30 seconds. So that should be about 3 to 5 breaths, usually. So a little shake, a little shake. Hip flexors have to work really hard to hold your legs up like that. So I always feel like they need a little bit of a vacation after that. Let's do a tap right there on the hip crease. We'll say thank you and relax at the same time to our iliopsoas muscles. Okay, let's do another balancing posture. I'm trying to keep it gentle today, so we're going to keep the balancing gentle too. Let's bring the arms up overhead, interlace your fingers with the index fingers pointing at the ceiling. That gives us the direction and the momentum of lengthening the spine. We're going to soften up the knees, take a breath. And as we exhale, we're going to exhale over to the right side. We'll get a lateral bend in, press down into your left foot. Shoulders are stacked. Take a breath. And then we're going to exhale and shift over to the right foot, lift up your left leg. Engage your abdominals here so you don't feel like your back is overarching. We're breathing. And then let's release, inhaling. Exhaling to the other side. So we'll start with a lateral bend and concentrate on that. Get our alignment, press down into your right foot. You can always stay here. If you say, I don't want to go to balancing today, I don't feel like I want to practice that today, then stay here. The rest of us are going to lift up the right leg. You can also have your big toe on the floor. You could also have your arms low. Engage your abdominals. Breathe. And let's release. Inhale. While our arms are here, let's do a little back bend. Exhale. If you need to put your hands on your low back, do it. Oh, open up the front of the body. Stretch the abdominals. And then let's inhale here. Exhale. Float the arms down. Float, 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 float. Let's lift our shoulders up. Roll them down. Lift and roll. Soften up your knees. If you're hyperextending, this is soft. Little micro bend. Lift and roll. Lift and roll. And then let's do our half salutes. Hands to the heart. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hinge. All the way over we go. Hang there. Inhale, halfway up, partway up. Take a breath. And exhale, fold. We're reaching up all the way. Slow motion. Take your time. Big breath. And exhale your hands to your heart. And again, here we go. Inhale. And fold. We're coming partway up, breathing. Folding over. Inhale and reach. And exhale your hands to your heart. Again. Reach up, get big, get wide. Feel yourself connected to the earth. We don't want to lose that, but feel every little bit of space around you. Come partway up and breathe. And fold. And then let's come up. And exhale your hands to your heart. Let them come to your heart. Turn your hands over. Follow them down. Let's put our hands on the floor. Come to your knees. And then drop your hips to the right side of your feet. So we're going to come into that mermaid position. So we're really resting on the right hip. We can really feel the right hip on the ground, grounded to the right hip. Let's take the left hand to the left ankle. Inhale your right arm up, exhale over to the left. And if for whatever reason you can't sit like this, sit cross-legged or in another position, because the lateral bend is the important part of what we're doing here. Everything else is beneficial, but I'm really trying to get us now deeply into the side body. Let's come back up. Exhale your hand down. Find your length again. Let's rotate while we're here. Exhale. Now we've got a big twist, not a baby twist. Drop your shoulders. Keep your heart lifted up. Turn your head to the right, but keep your chin down a little bit. Back of the neck stays nice and long. The jaw is quiet. Now let's unwind on an in-breath. And then let's change the way we're sitting. So our tail is going to flip over there to the other side. I love the whole mermaid thing. So mermaid makes sense, right? So let's put the right hand on the right ankle. Left arm lifts, inhaling as we exhale. We're going to invite that big open space now on the left side of the body. This is important. These muscles in between your ribs are called intercostal muscles. They are primary muscles of respiration, not secondary, primary muscles of respiration. They move the rib cage, right? So we can breathe. Got to give them a stretch. We got to keep them in good condition. And then let's inhale, arm up, exhale, float it down. Take a moment to inhale and get long again. And exhale to the left. Turn your head to the left, chin drops down just a little bit to ensure that we're not rotating and hyperextending. It just cuts off a little bit of blood supply to your brain. It's kind of important. And then let's unwind on an in-breath and come all the way back around. Now, let's free up the legs. So we'll bring them in front. If you feel like you need a little tapping to loosen things up a bit, feel free. That's not exactly an easy way to sit if you've got tight ankles. All right, we're going to do a little stretch for our hips now. So we're sitting with our hands behind us like this, leaning back. I've got my fingers pointed out towards the back wall. Let's cross the right leg over the left leg, right leg over left. We're going to bend the left leg, and you should feel already a stretch in your right hip. If you don't feel a stretch, or if you feel like it's not a big enough stretch, slide your left foot closer to your hips, and or you're walking your hands in a little bit closer. Here, I feel like I want to get all slouchy again. So I'm going to think about lifting my heart like there's a string on my heart that's going in that direction. So lift up your heart, breathe into your right hip, soften your jaw, and enjoy the stretch. And then we're going to let that go. So let's straighten out both of our legs. Uncross, cross the other way. Left crosses right. Of course, we're crossing above the knee so that we can bend it. So let's bend the right knee. There's the stretch in your left hip. Change it. Make it the way you want it, either in or out with your feet and hands. Lift up your heart. Shoulders are as relaxed as they possibly can be. I realize there's a little effort here. Soften your jaw. It does not need to help. And then we're going to release the stretch, straighten the legs, sit up nice and tall, and then put your legs in any position that you want them to be in. So basically sit however you want to sit. You can sit on your blanket again. I'm going to cross my legs. Let's move to our hands and wrists a little bit. We'll interlace. Let's circle the wrists around. This to me always feels so good. It takes me into my fingers in a way. I think it's a little bit of a massage as well as this circle for our wrist. Kind of forces me to squeeze my fingers. So I hope you're feeling a nice squeeze and massage there. Let's circle the other way. Simple, simple, simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. Let's press the palms out. Give your hands a stretch. Give your fingers a stretch. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. Now let's put our arms up overhead. So reaching up towards the ceiling like you're trying to get your palms on the ceiling. And then let's let go. Float your arms down. Feel them floating. Ah, and then bring them behind you and interlace your fingers. Let's lift our pinkies. Lift your pinkies off your back. So lift your arms up away from the floor as best you can. You could use a strap here if you want, but we're not going to be here that long. So lifting up, opening up through the chest. That's where I'm trying to get us. Breathe. And then let's release. Relax your arms. That might have been hard for some of you. Interlace your fingers again, but interlace them the opposite way. We're going to bring the hands behind the head. This might be easier for those of you who couldn't do that as well. Let's press the head into the hands and arch the back into a back bend. Open your elbows as much as you can. So another little seated back bend here, opening up the front body, opening up the heart center, heart chakra. Big breaths. And then let's release. Release your arms. Let's do a shake. And let's bring our hands to the knees. Change the cross of the legs. If your legs are crossed, you cross them the comfortable way. Now you're uncomfortable a little bit. Let's circle around. It's good to be uncomfortable a little bit, because maybe someday when you cross your legs, it won't matter which way you cross them. It'll feel good both ways. Maybe it already does for some of you who have been crossing your legs and crossing them the other way for years and years and years and years. Let's circle the other direction. Certainly, if you've been with me for 3 years, you've been doing it for 3 years. Think about that. Ah, around we go. Feeling loose, feeling comfortable, feeling that little extra stretch in our hips. Now let's come all the way back up and let's take whatever leg is in front and give it a little lift and rock. So you're in your hands, or you're in your elbows, or you're in one hand and one elbow, whatever your knees will let you do, whatever your lower leg will let you do. Little rock to get us back into the hip again. Nice tall spine. Nice loose jaw. Some of you have asked me to remind you to relax your jaw, which is why I say it so often. But also when we stretch our hips, our jaws tend to get involved, especially the hips. All right, let's release and change legs. So up you go. One side might be a little different than the other side. We're trying not to round the back. So trying to keep the neutral curves of the spine here. So let that be your guide. Let that be the most important thing, not how close you get your leg to your chest. And then let's release. And let's put that leg on the floor like this. So the sole of that foot is on the floor. And we're just going to massage the top of the foot. So go right in between the toes with, I'm using my middle finger. That seems to work the best for me, but you could use any of your fingers, your index finger. You could use all your fingers and massage right from the top of your foot down that little groove in between your toes, the top of your foot. So we think about reflexology points on the bottoms of our feet, but we also have them on the tops of our feet. All right, so let's go to the other foot. So put that leg out of the way, however, wherever you want to put it. And let's massage the top of the other foot. You could do all of them at the same time with all your fingers or just one at a time. Down that canal there on the top of your foot, all those little canals. Notice how good that feels. All right, and then put your legs in any position that you want and just notice the energy that now is flowing freely through your feet just by doing that. Super simple. Let's move to our fingers for a moment. So I'm going to take my right hand here and I'm going to take my left hand to my right pinky. And we're going to do a circle, one direction, a circle in the other direction, and a squeeze and a pull. I squeeze like crazy when I'm doing this. It's a nice massage. I pull pretty hard too. So we're going to circle the fourth finger. Try to relax your shoulders. Your shoulders are working a little harder here. Circle the other way. Squeeze and pull. Third finger, circle, circle, squeeze and pull. Second finger, index finger, circle. Doesn't want to let loose, does it? Mine doesn't. It's like, I'm in charge here. I need to be working at all times. Circle the other way, and then squeeze and pull. Now the thumb, we don't pull so hard. We can circle it. We can circle it back. We can squeeze the devil out of it, but let's not pull it so hard, okay? And then let's go to the other hand. Little finger circle, circle the other way, squeeze and pull. Ugh. Fourth finger, circle, circle, squeeze and pull. Third finger, circle, circle, squeeze and pull. Second finger, you are not in charge. I am. Circle the other way, squeeze and pull. Easy on the thumb. Circle, circle, squeeze hard, but a little pull. And then shake some energy into your hands. Relax. Close your eyes. Take a big breath in. More prana coming in. Exhale. Let go of what you don't need. Physically, emotionally, mentally, out it goes, blah, blah, blah. We don't need it. Let's do it again. Inhale. Good, pure life force energy coming in. Joy, love, all those good things. Exhale the junk. Let go of it. Let's come to our backs. Any way you want to get to your back today. Hug your knees, Apanasana, knee to chest pose. Let's do a rock as we usually do. I'm holding my wrist in the middle. I've got one hand on the opposite wrist. You could hold your fingers. You could clasp your fingers if you want. You could just hold your shins if you want. You don't have to join your hands. Let's bring our hands to our knees and let's make a big circle here. Hands could also be on the floor a little harder. And then we're circling the other direction. Back to the center we come, arms lay down at the T position, palms are up. Let's release the knees to the left, turn your head to the right. Look out over your right shoulder and tell it to drop back down to the floor. Back to the floor, right shoulder, relax. Soften your jaw. Let some big breaths float all the way down to your belly. Feel your belly expand. Feel your low back expand. And then we're going to let the knees come through the middle, over to the right side, all the way. Let your knees settle where they settle. Turn your head and look to the left and tell your left shoulder to drop back to the floor. Relax left shoulder. Relax jaw. Relax body. Let the earth hold you. The earth wants to hold you. Let it hold you. We'll bring the knees back to the middle again. Let's take hold of our feet. Let's come to happy baby pose and drop the knees towards the floor a little bit more. So we feel a stretch in the back of the leg. I like to rock. You don't have to rock. You can hang out here. You could hold your feet from either side. You could hold your big toes with your second and third finger. You could even say, happy baby is not for me today. I'd rather go to a V and get more into my inner thighs. You get to choose, where do you want to be? And then let's release the feet and just stretch the legs right up and over your head. Float your legs above you. Put them in a position where they feel like they could stay there all day without you doing anything at all but getting out of the way. Put your arms where you're relaxed the most. Let your shoulders be wide on the floor. Send the breath deep into the body. We're teaching the body how to relax. We're teaching our nervous system how to relax. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then we're going to bend one leg. We're going to bend the other leg. Hug your knees again. Do a little rock. And if there's anything else that you want to do, any other yoga postures you like to practice that we haven't done, feel free to do that now. Otherwise, we're going to move into relaxation. Straighten your pelvis on the floor. Maybe your legs are straight. Maybe they're bent. Maybe you're on your side. Maybe you're sitting up. Find a place that works for you where you can completely relax. Maybe you need to throw a blanket over yourself to feel more secure. Maybe you need to have something in your hands, like an eye pillow. Maybe you need to have something under your knees. There's all kinds of options. Don't feel like you have to lie there and be uncomfortable. If there's something that you can do to make yourself more comfortable so that you can really sink into this, then do it. Find a way to make that happen. And then just give way. Just let go. Just get softer. And we do it in stages and steps and layers. It's not always easy to do all at one time. Breath by breath. Let your breath become quieter and quieter, body softer and softer. Letting go and letting go. Let's begin to deepen the breath again. Move your fingers, move your toes. Let your head turn. And then let's bend the knees one at a time. We'll roll to the right. Come to fetal position on your right side. And let's take a moment here to be here, to notice how you feel here, to remember how you feel here. Invite gratitude into your heart today for your body. Incredible, incredible body, for the breath that fills it with life, with prana, that joins you to everyone else. And we are grateful for our practice, which moves us and draws us in so that we remember that the present moment is the place where we can truly relax. And then when you're ready, pushing yourself up, using your hands, coming to upright. Let's bring our hands together. Anjali Mudra, this mudra of surrender. We surrender to the wisdom of our practice. This mudra of honor, to honor yourself for who you are, just as you are, just as you were intended to be. We honor each other in the same way. We honor all people and all the creatures of the earth. We honor this earth and feel gratitude for the many gifts that we enjoy in abundance every day. We feel our connection to each other, to all people, to all beings, to all things on earth. Let's share our voices in the sound of our practice, in the sound of Om, taking a deep breath together. Ah. May peace, joy, love, compassion, and gratitude fill your heart today and every day to overflowing. Namaste. And I thank you for joining me on Thursday, February 23rd. Inspiration. I wish I could, these cards are hard to get into the light. Inspiration. So we've got a little guy with a magnifying glass and he's looking, he's following a trail of candy to that piñata. That's a piñata. I am open-hearted and eyes wide open-minded, ready to notice any microscopic speck of inspo that wanders my way. When it appears, I follow it without hesitation and resist the urge to ask a bunch of questions. It doesn't much matter where we're headed, inspiration and me, as long as we're wandering along together. Piñatas full of poignant moments are sure to follow. Nice. All right. Inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Let me